Hello mates, my name is Ragoline. There are a lot of movies about characters from comic books. You've read the title, so you already know that in this video I want to talk about Spider-Man, probably the most beloved hero. Sam Raimi and Mark Webb shot the most iconic films about that character. We all have own opinion about each of these movies. Even though most of people hate Spider-Man 3 and Amazing Spider-Man 2, sure they are bad, I'm gonna tell you why they are right and wrong at the same time. I personally am a huge fan of a great story. That's why I believe that each of these movies are still good. Let's start with the original Sam Raimi's trilogy. The movie itself has its good and bad sides obviously, but I'm no expert or critic to say more. I'm here more like a storyteller. Tobey actually appears to be a pretty decent Peter Parker. But I don't care about how good actors are, how amazing action scenes are, or how much you can see MJ's nipples. I only care for the story. Let's go for the main topics. The love parts of the movies are just bad. Peter doesn't talk to MJ about important stuff. Their actions aren't meaningful. They mostly behave like a couple of teenagers.
All I wanted was to tell her how much I loved her. Can't.
Thanks to the third movie here, because it did at least this better than the two previous films. Villains aren't bad. I mean, they are, but they're well made in the movies. They have their motives. They may do dumb stuff, but in general they can't be called stupid. And holy shit, the best thing in the trilogy is Harry Osborn. No, better say this, relationship between him and Peter. When they are good friends in the first part, supporting each other. When he tells his best friend that he will avenge his father. The best moment in the entire trilogy where he finds out his best friend is Spider-Man. How he still becomes a villain trying to avenge his father, and in the end, randomly, that was stupid, getting the information that it was more like Green Goblin than his father who Spider-Man killed. But how he reacted to this, how he forgives everything, how he sacrificed his own life for the best friend and his girlfriend. To prove that the third movie isn't that bad, pay attention to the Sandman with his issue and changing Harry, who honestly brings the meaning to the trilogy. Watching all the trilogy will let you see how all the characters and their relationships grow. Spider-Man 3 isn't that bad because it shows the finale to the whole story. We don't care what happens next, the main storyline is finished. Peter forgives for the murder of his uncle. The end. If the best Spider-Man movie isn't the first Amazing Spider-Man, then which one is? It has everything in it. Let's check it out and prove Amazing Spider-Man 2 isn't the worst Spider-Man movie. The love story going really good, the dialogues, the behavior, everything. Guess in which movie it is done even better? In the second Amazing Spider-Man. They're acting mature enough to believe they're having the issues they have. So far, it hasn't been shown that good in any other superhero movie. The villains. Lizard is good, he does everything he has to do. Electro. No, I mean it only seems like he has true motives. In reality, his actions mostly just doesn't make enough sense. He shouldn't have become a villain, let's be honest. Green Goblin. Holy shit, what is that? He is bad, but he did what he had to do. He's much worse than in the Raimi's movies anyway. Again, it is impressive how Peter meets Harry, even though it starts, weirdly. But the best moment that can forgive Amazing Spider-Man 2 for the villains is Gwen Stacy. She is so good in both movies that it makes her death the most emotional scene. Although there was supposed to be at least one more sequel, the trilogy is really good. Let me explain. The first movie shows us Peter Parker becoming Spider-Man. And the second one shows what this Spider-Man stands for and the most amazing scene of him losing Gwen, which is clearly an important moment of the character. Who cares what happens next? Spider-Man is Spider-Man, he'll just be doing his stuff being friendly neighbor. Sure, it would be great to show how he lives after the loss, but I guess just imagine it for yourself. The Spider-Man in MCU is amazing. But is the story as good as in the previous adaptations? We can see incredible actions and very cool stuff, but what if I tell you that the stories are pretty boring? First of all, love. In the Homecoming it was meant to be bad, so we meet MJ with passion, but relationship with MJ isn't good as well. The villains are awesome, that is for sure. However, their stories just begin and disappear. In Raimi's films there is Green Goblin who travels through all the trilogy. In Webb's there is Gwen who somehow connects all the lines. But in the MCU, Spider-Man is just on his own. Since there will be at least one more movie, I'm not saying that MCU Spider-Man has the worst story. The animated series is something different, but hell it is good. So many storylines, so many characters. Too bad it was closed after the 5th season. However, most of the stories were finished, the rest can be represented as an open ending. Not every Spider-Man movie is really good, but the ones that you may call bad make necessary addition to the whole story. In Raimi's trilogy, Worst, third Spider-Man finishes the Green Goblin story and concludes Peter and Harry relationship. In the Webb's trilogy, Worst, second Amazing Spider-Man brings finale to Amazing Gwen Stacy. What I believe justifies all the rest. And maybe the MCU Spider-Man is just starting its thing, you know. Thank you very much for watching this video, I really hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please press the like button and subscribe to my channel, I would really appreciate that. And if you want more of these type of videos, let me know in the comments. Have a nice life! Oh, I didn't tell you about the Spider-Verse. It is a masterpiece. She is so good in both movies that it makes her death the most not thin. Oh, fuck me.